and welcome to Merrimack Valley Visions. I'm your host, Robin Ellington, here with another show about ideas and innovations for the Valley. I talk to people in and around North Andover who have a vision to make this a better place to live, work, and play. And maybe that will challenge you to get involved. I'll show you how. And so will my guest today, Josh White, Director of Employment Services at CLASS, a nonprofit headquartered in Lawrence with offices in North Andover and North Reading. Welcome, Josh, to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you here. I'm sure there's a lot of curiosity about what CLASS does, how long you've been in Lawrence. Tell me some of the background information about CLASS.
Sure. CLASS Inc. was founded in 1976 by families in the Merrimack Valley who were looking for services for their sons and daughters. At that time, there weren't services available, so they felt that it was important to create an organization that could provide those services and to help their children grow.
So what kind of services were they looking for?
A variety of services. CLASS is a multi-services agency. We provide health and clinical services, day habilitation services. That includes our Turning 22 program for young men and women who have turned 22 and age out of the school system, our elder services program, our adult foster care program, our transportation program, and then finally my program, which is employment services that includes a variety of things around employment.
Well, we want to hear more about that. How many employees does CLASS have?
Currently, we have about 140 employees, but again, the organization continues to grow with new programs being offered, so the number of staff will continue to increase.
So you're in Lawrence on Parker Street?
Correct.
And there's also a site in North Reading which offers the same kinds of services there?
Correct.
I understand they're moving.
We are moving to a larger facility in Wilmington because, again, the more services we provide, the more individuals we can serve, and we are currently running out of space in our North Reading location.
That's wonderful news. It's growing pains, but it's great that you can move to a newer, better facility.
We're very excited.
So how many people come to programs at CLASS daily?
Currently, we serve more than 300 individuals in the variety of programs.
And that would be across all of the programs you just mentioned?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit more about dehabilitation. Some people might not know what the meaning of that is.
In a nutshell, dehabilitation is a program designed to provide clinical, life skills, and support services in a meaningful environment.
Ah, okay. So when you say it provides supports to people, what kinds of disabilities do people have that come to CLASS?
Again, the individuals that we serve come to us with developmental disabilities. There are a variety of disabilities that we serve, mental retardation, cerebral palsy, autism. We do serve individuals with physical disabilities, limited mobility. I believe about 30% of the individuals we serve are in a wheelchair. Our elder services program. It's really hard to pinpoint exactly the disabilities we serve because there are so many in the community, but we are fortunate enough to have a great team that supports them.
How is CLASS funded?
We are funded through a variety of both state and federal agencies, including the Department of Developmental Services, the Mass Rehab Commission, Medicare, Medicaid. We also accept private donations through individuals as well as foundations and grants. Each program is different and they only accept certain types of funding, but it all falls under the umbrella of CLASS Inc.
So your hours are from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, and folks that come to CLASS are fully occupied by the services that you provide.
Their day is fully mapped out from the moment they arrive to the moment that they leave. There is never a time during the day when there isn't something going on.
I'll bet that it's a house full of joy on some days. Probably around this time of year, there's going to be a Christmas party or two.
Absolutely. We are very excited, especially around this time of year, for the activities that we can provide to the individuals. I know that next week...
I was going to ask you about this.
Some of our individuals have been practicing Christmas carols, and we will be walking throughout our building, singing to both staff and the individuals. And for some reason, I got roped into it, so I will be along with them.
The lead singer in the Scrooge hat?
Correct.
So all the activities that you just described are in keeping with what mission?
So ultimately our mission at CLASS is this: to advocate, to support, and to promote the rights of our individuals with opportunities in their local community for growth, engagement, and ultimately acceptance.
Well, that's something everybody wants.
Absolutely.
So you make sure that this particular population receives it as well.
Absolutely. It's very important that we promote their human rights.
So you mentioned fundraising as one of the responsibilities of the agency to raise money to fund things that your government contracts do not cover.
Correct.
So that would be something that takes place outside the roof, perhaps?
Absolutely.
So in the community?
Correct. Correct.
So you have an emphasis on community inclusion, I understand.
It's very important that we get out into our community and let them know who we are, what we do, and who we serve. And we want them to be part of our organization, not just as a funder, but as a partner. Because we believe that not only are we trying to get our individuals out in the community, but we want to get our community involved with our individuals. It's very important that we create this partnership, this meaningful partnership.
So are there any community members that you're working with currently that you could tell us about?
Yeah, I'm very excited. We have two new partners that have come into the class family. One is Merrimack College in North Andover. They're working with us in a variety of ways, but they're also working with in our employment initiative, and they just recently hired two of our individuals to work at on their campus. And then secondly is the Merrimack Valley Credit Union. It's a relationship that we've had for a very long time, but now we are also happy to say that they will be part of the employment family as well.
I understand that's breaking news, too.
Very breaking news. It
Very
just recently happened.
Yes. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's quite a coup. So tell me about how Employment Services is organized.
Employment Services is broken up into three different departments. One is our shelter-based workshop, where we bring work into our facility and have our individuals work on what we call piecework, individual jobs. It could be kitting, it could be flyers, it could be a number of things inside our facility. Our second is our community-based work sites where individuals actually go out into the local community and do a variety of jobs at local businesses and local employers.
Can you give me a for instance of what some of those jobs could be?
Sure. So for example, we work with a company in New Hampshire called Universe, where we provide housekeeping and janitorial services. We also work with a lumber yard in Billerica, providing some general landscaping and maintenance. We also do a lot of the work that we do in-house out in the community as well. So some of the piecework that may be happening inside of class could also happen outside at a local business or employer. Our last program is our competitive employment, which basically is helping our individuals find real jobs out in the community with real pay and real benefits. We are very lucky to have a variety of employers that we are working with and have worked with for a number of years. Stop and Shop, McDonald's, Home Depot, you name it. And it's a program that has been very successful throughout the years and something that I'm very proud of.
Well, those big companies should be very proud, too, for hiring people with disabilities and for having that focus.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I understand there's a mandate, however, that is going to make part of your organization face a few challenges in the next 18 months or so. Can you tell me what's going on with those regulations?
Sure. So both on a state and federal level, there was a mandate that stated that all shelter-based workshops needed to close down by 2015, which means that the work that we are doing inside a class would be shut down, and those individuals in our employment program would either need to be placed in what we would call a community work site or competitive employment. So that is our main focus right now, is to go into our local communities to meet with local business owners and employers and see if there's a possibility of creating a new work site or the possibility of having our individuals hired on a competitive level.
Well, this is a terrific forum then, because I'm sure that there are many businesses out there that have a space on their staff, a job that a person with disabilities can do.
Absolutely.
So in order for them to find out more about what you would like to do, what kinds of people have the capabilities to do what kind of job, they could contact you then.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we will have that contact information available to viewers. We have a website, we have the phone number is on the screen right now, and Josh's extension is 1339.
Correct.
So you would call that number and ask to speak to Josh White, and he would be able to provide an assessment. I understand, too, that you've brought some photos with you today.
I did. I'm very excited to show some of our individuals at their place of work.
Okay, and when we come back, after we take this short break, Josh will tell us about the kind of work that people with disabilities can do and would love to do for you. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Robin Ellington from Merrimack Valley Visions. I'm here with James McCarthy of the North Andover Wildlife Team. James, I understand that you've got some goals for the organization. Tell us what you need.
We're about 50% of the way towards our goal of certifying the town of North Andover with the National Wildlife Federation as a community habitat. In order to finish our goal, we need to certify 120 more homes with the National Wildlife Federation to become the 71st community in the entire country to achieve this.
And how do people certify their home?
They can check out our website, www.nahabitat.com.
Or call you?
Or they can call me at 978-857-2284 or email me at jamesmccarthy87@gmail.com.
Well, you're a committee of one right now. You'd like to expand on that. What are you looking for?
What we really need, our top two items are artists, so graphic designers, web designers, and most importantly, sculptors to make some great garden art, and grant writers to help us take our project to the next level with some more funding.
So you need homes and people. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in North Andover listening right now that have both. So please let us know if you can lend James McCarthy a hand. Thank you so much. Hello, and we're back. Josh White, Director of Employment Services from CLASS, has joined us today and is going to be describing what kinds of work people with disabilities can do for companies, for employers in the Merrimack Valley. Tell us about some of the jobs again inside the building that your folks with disabilities can perform.
Sure. Again, we do a number of jobs, including kitting and leaflets and whatnot. We currently do the Blue Cross Blue Shield benefits packet. We work with a company called Tendercore, and we create wilderness survival packs, or first aid kits. We also work with another company called Stephen Gould, which does similar work. I know that some of the products that we've worked on have actually been sold in Costco. We are also working on a project right now for a gourmet company with cookies, labeling cookies and wafers that are
That reminds me of a I Love Lucy segment where she's doing chocolates. Do you have similar challenges at work?
I have to admit that there was a time where we would find empty wrappers on the floor, but you can't blame them. They do look good.
So the cookies are good. So tell me about some of the on-site work now, the competitive employment and maintenance crew work that you do.
For our work sites, for our community work sites. Again, we are fortunate enough to go to various employers in and around the Merrimack Valley Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 or 3 o'clock, providing housekeeping, janitorial, landscaping. Again, there is a company in Billerica, a lumber yard called Holton Bugby that we provide janitorial and maintenance services to. Our UniFirst company, which is a uniform company in New Hampshire, we do similar work.
Let's show some of the photos then that you've brought with you. Absolutely. And we can go into a little bit more detail about the successful placement that you have found for folks.
Absolutely.
And the first photo is?
This young lady is named Stacy. She attends our North Reading facility. As you can see, she works for McDonald's in North Reading. She works 2 days a week. Her main responsibilities are wiping down the tables and emptying the trash. The nice thing is that the McDonald's is directly across the street from our North Reading facility, so if Stacy or McDonald's ever needs any support or guidance from CLASS, we are available to come right across the street and help out as needed.
Okay. And the next?
This is David. David loves hockey. And one of the big things with our Career Services program is really taking the individual's interests, their passions, their hobbies into account when job developing. And again, David is very interested in hockey, so the career specialist that was working with him really looked at different opportunities in and around hockey and was fortunate enough to find him a position at the Songus Arena in Lowell, working the various hockey games. David has been there for, I want to say, 2 or more years, and he has become part of the Songus family.
And he's there with the events manager on the right, Kyle, I
Correct.
Understand. So that's his boss.
Correct.
Okay. And the next?
This is an in-house job. We are also responsible for a social enterprise initiative. This is through UMass Lowell Social Catalyst, and basically it's a unique venture in that we take old VHS cassettes, remove the ribbon, and put them through the loom with different fabric and create things such as wallets, purses, bags. It's unlimited the things that we can do with it. And again, this happens inside our class facility.
So this is hand weaving a material.
Correct.
It must be very durable.
Very much so.
It'll outlast us all, I'm sure. And then the next?
This is Matt. Matt is a computer genius. You put any type of hardware or software in front of him and he can automatically diagnose if there's a problem and also how to fix it. And again, we took that into account when we were job developing for Matt, and we're fortunate enough to find him a job at Chuck E. Cheese as one of the game techs. So if there's a problem with one of the games, he would go in and diagnose the problem, and then ultimately fix it.
So he diagnoses the PC, the computer element.
Correct. And there's a great story with Matt at Chuck E. Cheese. A while back, they were having a problem with one of their machines. There was an issue with the motherboard. Chuck E. Cheese felt that they couldn't find a way to fix it, so they were going to have to order a new part, which I believe is about $800. Matt came in, took a look at the problem, fixed it, and saved the company $800.
Oh, so all he had to do was replace a capacitor or a diode or something instead of a whole board?
It is out of my range exactly what he did, but he was responsible for...
A savant.
Very, very much so.
Okay.
This is Ron. Ron works at a local stable, and again, we really took into account what his interests, what his passions were. He goes to the stable every Friday, and he's responsible for the general cleaning and upkeep and working with the horses. And the nice thing is because he's done so well at the stable that at the end of his shift, he's actually allowed to participate in some of the riding lessons.
That's wonderful. So there's individuals at work outside of class. What's happening here?
This is a contract called Beer Saver. Basically, the fiber optic cable that you see in front of you is put through a tubing at a bar or restaurant, and it's supposed to save excess soda or beer. I guess when going through taps, sometimes a lot of the liquid is wasted. This ensures that does not happen.
So it doesn't hit the floor?
Correct. So the individuals in this picture are actually creating the tubing. They do the soldering, the cutting, working with the fiber optic cables, a variety of sizes, and then they're returned to the business who then sells them to local restaurants and bars.
It looks like it's a very dexterous type of a job.
And I think that's one thing that I want to stress to the audience is that the individuals at class are not responsible for simple jobs. You know, our individuals have low skill level, high skill level. They can do jobs that just have one piece attached to it and another job that has multi-pieces to it. That's the exciting thing, is that we can provide them with a variety of work, especially for their learning scale.
And what is this job now?
This is a hanger job through Aramark, located in Andover. Aramark is the uniform division, and they give us all of their hangers that have been bent out of shape, and our individuals are responsible for straightening them. Now, it's not a matter of just straightening the metal and sending it back. It has to be angled a certain way, the width, the length. So the individuals are responsible for really the attention to detail is very important in completing this job.
Are the hangers different sizes?
Very much, yeah, absolutely.
So they have to be sorted as well.
Absolutely. And this is a job that we've had for a number of years, and it's an organization that we're very proud to call a partner.
So which one of those jobs then is priced according to what the work to be done is? I know that there is competitive placement, individuals at job sites. You also send crews out, but unfortunately we didn't have a photo of that today.
To go through all three programs, the competitive program, I mean, it's a job, it's a real job. They are paid a livable wage, a minimum wage. Our in-house work, our shelter-based workshop, it depends on the contract itself. So the hanger job, because it is considered a very simple job, is that the pay rate is a lot lower, whereas a job with the tender core first aid kits, because there are multi-pieces to it and the attention to detail is so important that it's a higher paying job. Finally, our work sites, the pay is determined by what we call a time study. So staff would go to an employer, do the job, be timed on how long it would take to do the job, then return to class. We would calculate how long it would take for an individual to do the job, and then based on that, we would be paying the individual with what we call sub-minimum wage that is approved through the Department of Labor.
Okay. Speaking of the Department of Labor, I understand that there are tax incentives for folks on the payroll.
Absolutely.
To the employer.
It is both on a state and federal level. They are called the Work Opportunities Tax Credit. For any employer that hires an individual in a competitive job, they qualify for this tax credit, which I believe is about 40% of the first $6,000 for the first year of employment. For those that are interested in learning more, they can go to the IRS website, and it clearly outlines exactly what you can qualify for hiring an individual with a developmental disability. One thing I would stress is that if an employer would hire more than one individual, that tax credit does not cover the group. It actually covers every individual that you have hired.
So that would be an incentive to hire many.
You know, yes. I would hate for that to be the only reason, but that is a big reason to hire someone with a developmental disability.
So there is a bigger reason to hire somebody with a disability?
Absolutely.
And what is that?
The biggest reason I feel for hiring an individual with a disability is the individuals that we work with, when they are hired or when they do a job, there's a feeling of self-worth, a feeling of acceptance, the independence and self-sufficiency associated with doing a job. They want to prove to the community at large that they're just like everybody else. They want to work just like everybody else. And in most cases, they go above and beyond their job duties. There was a study done a while back that showed that a traditional employee, the turnover rate is about 40% in 1 year. For an individual with a developmental disability, the turnover rate is about 8 to 10%.
Wow.
So
that's quite a decrease.
Correct.
So that is a reliable employee then.
Absolutely.
Very reliable. So companies and employers can call you about placing an individual at their work site. Mm-hmm. About a production job they might have. Mm-hmm. They might be sending out their Christmas cards this year. They need to stuff an envelope. They need to put a stamp on the envelope. They need to affix stickers to the envelope. You can make a quote for them. Absolutely. On how much that job would cost them.
We do. I'm sorry.
And that would take the onus off of that company to get it done in a short time frame when they don't have the staff to do it themselves. Mm-hmm. Yes, so how can they get that started again? By calling you?
Calling me. Again, my number is 978-975-8587, extension 1339. They can email me at jwhite@classinc.org. What I would also encourage employers to do is actually come to our facility in Lawrence, to come to Class Inc., to tour, to meet the individuals, to meet the staff, to learn more about who we are and what we do. It's okay to have that phone conversation, but a lot of times I think they get a better idea of what we are trying to do within the employment program by coming out and seeing it firsthand.
Well, thank you, Josh, for coming on today and telling us about the wonderful possibilities with hiring people with disabilities. Everybody deserves a job to do. If you have work for individuals at Class, contact Josh White. You'll have employees who want to work and want to work for you. Thank you, Josh, for coming on again. Today we heard from Josh White, Director of Employment Services at Class, and his vision to get people working in the Valley. Thanks for joining me this week on Merrimack Valley Visions, a show about ideas and innovations for the Valley. If you have a vision to make this a better place to live, to work, and to play, I'd like to talk to you. Call me about your ideas at 978-337-6826 or email me. You'll see my email address on the screen. Then come on the show and share your vision for the Valley. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Robin Ellington, and I'll see you next time on Merrimack Valley Visions.